Hello and welcome. Today, here in our factory in Gotha, in Germany. My name is Bashir, and I would like to welcome you in our factory in Gotha for our Technology Day, Heavy Duty is Beauty. Uh, my name is Bashir, as I told you, and I am application specialist for bending and automation, and I would like to have nice time with me today.
And my name is Susanne Schön. I'm Event and Product Management Coordinator here in Bystronic too. And we are your hosts for this evening or for this event today. About 30% of our machines that we produce here are longer than 3 meters and have a higher tonnage than 150 tons. Longer and especially stronger and heavier parts, we usually have customers in agriculture, in the building industry, or in the trailer industry. But all these information and more details about bending with heavy duty or with heavier materials, my colleague, product manager for bending, Karsten Trautvetter, will show you later on.
And if we speak about heavy parts and the working with personnel, and we think about heavy parts all the time, we need at least for small parts, which have 20 or 30 kilo, two persons for handling these parts. And when we speak about handling the parts from person, we can speak also about handling the parts from robots or from other automation. At this time, when we think about it, okay, we have 2 persons and we have also our crane for using our handling part or the part. We can speak also about how we can make all our bending part or our cutting part automatically. For speaking about this, I will let my colleague, our product manager for automation and bending automation, Benedikt Kreisel, speaking about it more.
But also the software and the pre-processing of all the processes are necessary. Therefore, we have also prepared a little overview over our software. And of course, to bend the parts, we also need to cut them before. And our colleagues who will show you during the event will present you all those details. And of course, our colleagues from AIRCO are here to show their newest features in their latest technologies. But before we start with all this, of course, everything needs to start with software. So I will hand over now to my colleague Ronny, who will show you all the details about software.
Hello from my side. My name is Ronny. I show a little bit about our software. Of course, as then explained, first we have to start with our software. This is the first process we have. First, we use the software to extract the parts and then send the finished program to the bending machine and to the cutting machine. How it works, I show now. First of all, I will show our part we will use today. This looks like this. We have a little assembly with different parts, and later on you will see different parts again on the machines. Okay, how it works is really simple. Let me go back to our BySoft CAM. First of all, a little bit explanation. On the left side, you see the different modules we have in our software. I show just 2 different modules. First of all, the auto part module, we import automatically parts, separate parts and also assemblies. And the last one or the second one is the tool setup optimizer. This is also interesting if you have heavy parts and heavy tools, how you can organize all this in the right direction that the operator don't need to move that much tools and that much parts. Okay, how it works, let me show now. First of all, we use the tool auto part. We start a new project and here we can import our different parts. In my case, let me use this assembly we have already seen. What I have presetted is what kind of machines we will use. Later on, I show here on the right side. The bending machine I have presetted to this one. This is our machine in our demo center, and the cutting machine, 15 kilowatt, is also the machine we have here in our demo center. Okay, how it works is really simple. One button, it's called Start. We start to unfold our parts. You see this goes really, really fast. We have this assembly with all these different parts. If we have more than one parts in the assembly, like this part or this part, then you see it, we have the quantity to 2 or 3 or whatever's in the assembly. Okay, what is the next step? Of course, you can use now the parts and can say, okay, I will program the bending sequence. I will program the cutting program. But if you have presetted your software, you can also use an automatic. You see this little button here, continue. This do everything like this we see here to program the technology. This means the software looks for the part. What kind of part is it? Cutting part, of course, get just cutting technology, and the bend part get both of them. This takes some seconds, you see, and now we are calculating on the last part. Everything is green, and let me show a quick look in some of the parts. Maybe one of this, like this, the first one is a good one. We go to edit. You see the part, you will see it later on the laser, and you see if I switch to the cutting technology, we have already set the cutting technology. It's really simple. Of course, you can change something if you don't like anything, or you will change any on the part, and you can also say, okay, it was just a double check, I go back and look for the other parts. You can go through all the parts we have here. 1 or 2 of the parts you will see later on, like this one. You see also later on in a live demonstration on the machine, and this also. Maybe for bending part, I will do the same. I say edit, and then you see different colors. These are signed the bending lines. Now we can also switch to the bending technology, and here we can double check or change the bending technology. Of course, first of all, the software check all the tools I have in my tools plan, and then the software say, okay, I have set it these tools, I have calculated this bending sequence, and so on. Tool setup plan, baggage, bending aid, if available on the machine, lamp system, and the last point is the export. You can export the part to the machine. The export goes also automatically over this tool, and then we are normally finished with the programming. But if you like to organize a little bit your bending parts, there is a second tool, this called Tool Setup Optimizer. Let me start this. I pre-select the machine I have in the demo center, for example, hit the OK button, and here I can say, okay, what kind of parts I like to bend. I say, okay, add new parts. You see, these are parts we have in this assembly. We have just the bending parts, of course. And then we have all the parts in this tool. Now, if I like, I can also say, okay, maybe I will bend from every part 20 pieces, like this one. And then you see this colors expand a little bit. Like this one, this is the first part, and maybe this one is the last part. Okay, how we can optimize this now? Really interesting are some values like this one you see here. The operator have to move around about 320 kilograms of tools, and completely they have to move 60 tool segments. Okay, how we can optimize this? We can give some settings, how the software will do it. I have preset this before. I hit the automatic button, and then the software optimized the right direction I have to bend the part. You see, the first part is still this part, but the second one is a little bit different. This is the same material thickness. We use the same tools, and then, of course, we can bend these parts together or as first part and second part. You can also see on the values we have here now, we have to move now just to around about 250 kilogram and also less segments. And for the operator, is this really needed that there are maybe not so much tools are moving or that wait to move. You have already the parts to move and to handle in front of the machine. If I finish with this or I'm lucky with this, I can of course double check. You see the tools what you have to use. We have pre-calculated before over the auto part. And if you see the red signs, this means you need a tool change. Here in this, I explained before, we don't need for the second part. Here we have a tool change on top and bottom. On the fourth part, or for the fourth part, we have just a change on the top tool, and the last one are completely different with the radius tool, and then we are on the end. We have here on the end an export button. We can export this whole job to the bending machine with all the bending programs, and then the operator can start with this job with all the programs, and he have the exact and best direction of the parts he have to bend. Okay, this is a short overview about the software. There's of course a lot more in the software. If you are interested, feel free to contact every demo center we have in the world and looking deeper in the software in our demo center. Okay, this is from my side. See you later. Bye bye.
Thank you, my colleague Ronny, for the explanation of our BySoft CAM and also the explanation of our tool setup optimizer. As we hear from my colleague Ronny, we know now that all heavy parts and a lot of parts we can, with our software, make all of that automatically. Heavy part and also smaller parts can we do with it. With the tool setup optimizer, we can handle a lot of parts together and go to the machine from our software from begin to the end. And we know how we can optimize our time for the tooling, also for the handling with our operator. This is a real nice solution for our working with the bending machine. And also we saw our BySoft CAM, how we can handle also a lot of parts, and we can cut also some parts or more than parts with our BySoft CAM. All these processes, we can make it easier with using of our BySoft CAM.
So now, as you have seen how we set up the parts in the software department, we also want to bend them later on, of course. But first, we want to show you how we can cut the parts, or some parts, on our laser machine.
Yeah, hello and welcome. My name is Erik. I'm application technician here in the demo center, and today I want to show you something about our flagship product in laser cutting, the ByStar Fiber. In my back, we have seen a ByStar Fiber 1315, which means that we can cut sheet sizes from 3 meter by 1.5 meter, but we are also able to have it much more bigger and heavier. So the biggest machine we offer at the moment for you as customer is 12 by 2.5 meter. This is our range in portfolio in the size, but we are also able to have different sizes of the source, the laser source, which means that we can have machines from 3 kilowatt up to 20 kilowatt at the moment. That's our portfolio in laser systems. And today we show you a 15 kilowatt in 3015, which means that it's the smallest machine in size, but one of the biggest machines at the moment in the power source. So with this, we want to cut 20 millimeters for now. And for this, we have also a quite special thing in the back of the laser. You will not see so close, but you will see in cutting result afterwards. We want to work today with mixed gas, which means that we are mixing a little amount of oxygen to our nitrogen to make the cutting much more cleaner, much more safer, and also much more faster. And for this, we prepare a 20 millimeter steel material. It's not the best one, so the quality is also a good and interesting thing with mixed gas cutting, which means that you also can cut lower quality material with it. And for this, we want to start. So we go back to the changing table. We are every time able to equip this machine modular, also with automation system. In our case, it's a standalone, but we also offer you as customer different and various automated systems for this machine. So now I go with the light barrier and we can start the job. And also one really cool and interesting thing with this machine is the nozzle centering tool, which means that the machine will automatically checking for the nozzle. So you see now, nozzle will checked, fully automatically. We can now also go into the plan mode to check if something is wrong with the plan. We can re-enable and say, okay, I want to have the table with the table changing process. So material goes in, old material comes out. We can quit the plan. Machine is checking themselves for faults or problems with the nozzle or with the centering of the nozzle. So you make sure also in fully automated that the nozzle is centered and the quality of the nozzle is really, really good. So now we have checked everything. We're going now for the edge detection using our detection eye. And now we start to cut. So the holes are quite small also for the sheet thickness, which means that we can go less than half of sheet thickness with the hole diameter. But yeah, that's a good thing with the laser or the fiber laser. And now we can see the machine cutting round about it. What is also a good thing with it is the possibility to use a beam shaper to also cut material up to 50 millimeter sheet thickness with this machine. Second part is done. And after this part, I stop the process shortly and we can have a look for the cutting quality of the part. So we can open the door and try to remove. And here you can see, I go a little bit deeper to the camera closer, and here you can see the cutting quality in 20 millimeter steel. I think it's quite good. Also the holes, and you see that we have a really tiny gap between the hole and the outside contour, which is also quite complicated for all other laser systems. And it's also a good thing using mixed gas to have a good cutting quality, a good cutting grade. So yeah. And with this, I say thank you. I hope you enjoy a little bit talking about the demonstration, and I hand over back to my colleagues Susanne and Bashir.
Thank you, Erik, for your explanation about our laser. As we know, now we have for our thick material the beam shaper and also the solution from our colleague AIRCO. We can, with the solution from AIRCO and also the beam shaper, cut thick material, 20 millimeter, more than 20 millimeter, also 30, 40. If you think about it, how we can cut all this material with the perfect precision and with the perfect cut. Now you can speak about the solution from our colleague AIRCO or from our beam shaper. Now we saw the laser can also optical tool detection. They can give us the position, the perfect position or the real position of our material, where is in the machine. That means we program our part in BySoftCam, and afterward we come to the machine. The part or the sheet material is in the right position in our machine, and afterward we press on the connect and we press on the cutting. Afterward, all our part with the precision working is cutting and with the real nice cutting. This is about our laser. We have also from our laser 20 kilowatts, that's which give us a real speed and a real nice cut with nitrogen. You can speak all the time about the cutting with laser from Bystronic. Now I give the.
If you want to see it in real in one of our demo centers worldwide, you are free to book a demo either online or just go to your sales guy and he will help you set up a demo. And as Erik and Bashir already explained, the higher speeds we need and the more external technologies we need, we also need to go in collaborations with other companies. And therefore, for us, especially mixed gas is quite important, and therefore we invited our colleagues from AIRCO to give us an overview over their newest technologies. Therefore, I will hand over now to our colleagues from AIRCO.
Hello, my name is Johannes. I'm from AIRCO. And when cutting heavy-duty parts, you will probably need a lot of nitrogen. And when it comes to nitrogen, Bystronic and AIRCO are working exclusively together. With our system, you can use your in-house compressed air to produce your nitrogen on site. The quality with the purity of up to 6.0 is the highest quality you can get for laser cutting. Our system has a very compact design and is also very energy efficient at the same time. We can use, of course, a photovoltaic system to reduce cost, save energy, and save CO2. As Erik showed very impressively before, using mixed gas for cutting thicker material might have several advantages. And with our AIRCO mixed gas, you can mix nitrogen with oxygen up to 25%. And then with the perfect gas mix, you can cut up to 20% faster. And also the cutting result is up to 60% better. So I think faster cutting and also better cutting results, that would be the real beauty of heavy duty, I would say. Our products are available directly from Bystronic. If you should have any questions regarding our systems, feel free to reach out. We will also be here today to answer any questions that might be sent to the chat, so feel free to use that feature as well. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will hand it back to Susanne and Bashir.
Thank you, Johannes, for your presentation. As you already mentioned, you can also book demos at AIRCO directly, or as explained before, in our demo centers worldwide. Now, in Gotha, we also have the AIRCO N compressor system and, of course, a mixed gas station here in our demo center available for demos. But after the laser system, we also need to do some bending.
If we speak about laser and cutting, afterward, we have to speak also about bending. When we speak about bending, we speak about how we can bend heavy material with really nice precision for our angle. If we look at this case, we can speak all the time how we can bend our part with all the form and with the real nice angle. I will let my colleague Karsten and Ronny speak more about it. Let's go to them.
warm welcome also from our side here, from the vending side. We are here in front of our flagship. It's the Expert Pro series machine. It's one of the most sold machines worldwide. And this portfolio starts from 100 ton up to 320 tons. We make in the standard configuration also machines up to 1000 ton and 10 meter bending lengths. These machines are also available in tandem configuration. This means you can have a machine of about 20 meters bending lengths and in total then with 2000 tons. As Susanna explained to you before, about 30% of our machines have or are bigger than about 320 tons, and they are longer than 4 meters. So a big number of our machines are so-called big machines for handling heavy materials. For this kind of materials, we have a number of solutions available. For example, different clamping styles, and we have also, when we come to this, to the tooling, we have here different tooling types available. The most used standard tooling is so-called head-supported tooling. So the force goes into the head of the tooling, and this is the limitation of the pressure at the end. When you have a so-called shoulder-supported tooling, that's what you see here, then you have more or less 2 times the surface of the head. And this means, for example, you can cover 2 times the power of the bending force. You can make or enlarge this shoulder now, make it bigger at the end of the day, and with this we can load far more tonnage on the tooling, and this gives a lot of flexibility in this tooling. What we do, what's our daily work every day, is we get applications from our customers worldwide, and we design, for example, this tooling directly for the customer application. So that's what you see here, for example. Here you see here we have this kind of tooling. That's also the most used tooling with so-called radius inserts. Now, this is when you have a heavy tooling, you don't want to change the tool holder every time because it's really heavy. And very often they are also much longer than this. They can be easily 1 meter in length, so 1000 millimeters. And what many customers are then doing is they just change the radius inserts, what you see here. And these radius inserts, you can have them in different radiuses. Depending on the material thickness, they are varying. Also with the lower tools, we are really flexible. We have our standard clamping system and our standard tables where we have we can put the tools in like this here with this nose, and you can put these tools in like this. You can see this from myself here, that this tooling is already really heavy, and you will see later on that's also one of the reasons why we have this tool changer, which is specially made also for changing of heavy tooling. You can have here from our side also some kind of cabinets which are next to the machine, and you can move, slide these tools in easily. That's also something what many customers are doing, so that you don't have to move this tool into this table and set up your machine. So you can have also solutions that you slide them in from the side. And as I told you before, many customers nowadays go also for the tool changer solution. What you see here also is this one here, this so-called VarioV. That's a flexible lower tool system, and as you can see here, you can adjust this really easily. That's the smallest system. It starts from about 25 millimeters V opening and goes up to 125 millimeters, and then the biggest ones are usually in the standard range of up to 400 millimeters. So then here you have a V opening of about 400 millimeters. You can put them on our tables, and we have special supports for this kind of lower tools as well. What you see here, it's a so-called manual system. So you have to adjust this here manually, and you have here some kind of inlays. For example, it's here plastic now, just for the example, but at the customer side, then you have here different sizes, and then you can adjust this manually. So that's a lower price solution for this kind of stuff. We have also solutions available which are semi semi-automatic, which you can adjust here with a screw on the side. You can use, for example, a screwdriver, which is motorized for this, and this makes it already a little bit more flexible. And then we have, of course, also a fully automatic solution available, where this is driven by a motor. And this is adjusting the V-opening completely automatically. When you have this kind of interest, always feel free to get in contact with us. We don't have this kind of solutions here in the demo center because we don't present this every day, but we have customers close by our experience center and demo center, and we can visit this kind of customers and can show you all this kind of solutions. What we can also offer to you is application support. So this means you send your application, and we can cut this, and then we can bend this together at our customers. So that's also possible that you see how the different systems for heavy parts are working. So with this, we come closer to the machine. And at the end, most important for bending good parts is the machine. And here, as I told you, the Expert Pro. And what is the highlight of the Expert Pro is our dynamic crowning system. It's a patented system, and many customers, I think they love it, because at the end of the day, it makes sure that you have always good part quality. What this dynamic crowning system is doing for you as a customer, that's something what Ronny will explain to you now, and he will give you a short demonstration on this system on a part we have prepared here for you.
Okay, thank you, Karsten. Hello again. I explained a little bit our compensation systems. I show two of them. First is the crowning system, and later on you see an additional one. First of all, I have programmed in part. The software don't know about really the part, just the thickness and the tools. You will see later on why I have done this in this case. Let me switch just to this page, and you see what the machine do during the bend. You see in part like this, I have programmed the whole length. You can see it on the screen, but in real, the part has some holes, long holes, smaller holes, and the last bend will be in the full material. And what the software do, or the machine do, is during the bend we detect how many force we need, and about this information we can calculate how the crowning must be during the bending sequence in this step. What is the advantage of this? Of course, the machine can react to some differences in the material. It could be a different thickness, it could be a different tensile strength. There are different things that are affecting the bending sequence. Okay, how it works? Let me break just the material in front of the part to this small shape. This is just like a reference part. If I do a bend, you will see, first of all, of course, the machine move on the right position. And if you have a look on the screen, you will also see this little instrument. What you see, they are doing not really that much. Now, we do the bend, and then we have the angle, and this should be 90 degrees. This is just the reference. Let me lay down to this side, and we find this later on. Okay, if we start with the part, this is the same bending sequence. Now we have a little bit more material, and normally the bending angle will be completely wrong. And what we do, we measure during the bend how many force we need, and you can see on this instrument, you see in the screen that the machine detects this and say, okay, I need more pressing force, and for this I need also more crowning. Of course, what we also adjust is correction over the side frame deflection. This means we have two frames, left and right side. They are also deforming. But in our demonstration here, we will have just a look to the crowning system. Okay, you see the holes goes closer and closer or smaller, and the force will be more and more. And the last bend is most interesting. Then we have the full material, a situation I have programmed still on the control. Okay, this is the last one. And then we have the most bending force and the most crowning. And if we now lay down the part like this, and we use the small part, and I hold this in the part. You see on the whole length, I hope you can see it, is the same angle. In the middle, we have the same angle. There's not wobbling or something like this. And on the first bend, we have the smallest material, or the longest holes, however you see it. We have the same. And this is a really advantage, especially like you see on our topic. If you bend big material, thick material, long parts, you need a dynamic crowning. With static crowning, you cannot do this. Okay, this is the first compensation system. We come later on to the next compensation system or another compensation system. Karsten explained about the tools like this. This is really heavy. And what we also have, we have the tool changer. We have two different ways to change the tools. Of course, like this machine, and a little bit later you will also see how we can change the tool on a bigger robot cell. First of all, of course, I have to load the right program. Let me say we will bend this program. This is the next one. We go to our software for the robot. You see now the situation. The blue tools are the tools we have already in the machine, and the green one are the tools I like to have for the next step. Okay, to do this is really simple. I select and change for the top tools, and of course to change for the bottom tool, hit the start button. The machine asks me if you don't move the tools, or I have then to do little different things. I say, okay, I never change the tools, and then the robot starts to change the tools. First, they are moving everything away. The robot goes on start position and looks for the tools they can also already use, and the other tools will be removing. Okay. A little bit later, you will also see how the tool change works. From this setup, we move now in the machine to another one. In this time, I give to my colleagues Stefan and Benedikt to the big robot cell.
Thank you, Ronny, and thank you, Karsten, for your explanation about the modular tool changer and our Expert Pro 150. If we spoke about it, we saw that the work with the tool changer make our job easier. That means our user don't need to handle all the part or to handle all the heavy tooling inside the machine. We have now in the back our tool changer, who can work for us and help us for putting the tool inside the machine, and also in the right position. We don't need to think more about if the position of my tool is the right position or not. We have the robot who's can working for us in this position. And we have also, we did spoke about crowning system and how we can work also on our angle from the first position to the end position of our sheet material. That means I bend my part and I have the same angle from the beginning and to the end of my part. That means if we have a small part or big part with holes, without holes, we have the same quality and the same angle.
If you want to make sure that it is exactly as we have shown you, you can also again visit us in one of our demo centers worldwide and book a demo. Then you can also see our machines in real. As my colleague Ronny now started a tool changing process on the modular tool changer, we also have another possibility. I think we have the possibility to change tooling on our other machines. Now I want to ask my colleague Benedikt, is there any possibility for our bending cell to also change tools?
Yeah, welcome from my side. My name is Benedikt Kreisel. Thanks, Susanne, for this question. And I can say, yes, our bending cell is also able to change tools in an automated way. But this is not the only thing which makes the bending cell to a perfect partner for big and heavy applications. But before I want to start to show you more about our bending cell, I also want to introduce my colleague. This is Stefan Leisenberg, and he will tell you in a few seconds more about our heavy applications we bend on our bending cell. So as long as the bending cell is changing and preparing our tool setup for our big and heavy application, I want to give you more details why the bending cell is the perfect partner and solution for big and heavy applications. In a first step, it starts with the press brake. We have the ability to configure all Expert Pro series into our bending cell, so starts from 100-ton press brake up to a 320-ton press brake. And up to a bending length of 4 meters. But this is not the only important thing while handling heavy and duty applications. It's also important to handle these applications with a robot with the ideal payload. We have here 3 configurations, starting with the smallest one with 120 kilogram payload, and is going up to 300 kilogram payload robot into our bending cell. These are not the only components into the bending cell who make the bending cell to a perfect partner for heavy and duty applications. Also, all other components are configured for these bigger applications, up to 3 meters or more. We have an alignment station, we have a regrip station configured for heavy parts. And this is also the reason why customers are deciding for a bending cell in this range. I want to give you a short example from a customer. Customer who bought our bending cell was handling an application of 75 kilogram with 2 operators and a crane in the past, and were able to handle 70 applications in 1 shift. With our bending cell, he has the capability to increase to 300 parts in 1 shift with no need of an operator anymore. And this shows the capability of our bending cell as a good partner, especially for heavy-duty applications. But Stefan, now let's talk about the application we want to see today. What kind of application do we bend today? And shows this the capability of the bending cell in a good way, and heavy and duty application today.
Yes, thank you, Benedikt. My name is Stefan. Today we're going to bend a 6 millimeter mild steel sheet of metal. It's going to have 7 bends. We start with step bends, so we have 6 bends in a row, which makes a very nice radius. Then we have to go to the regrip station to change the gripper position in order to reach the other side for the last bend. Now we have changed the gripper, we have changed the tools already. We pick up the first part. We go to the alignment station, and then we go straight to the bending. So now we're going to do the very first bend. It's going to be a very small bend, just about 5 degrees, so just a tiny bit. And now you can see actually the speed of the bending cell, which helps to increase the output at the end of the shift. So I let the pictures speak for themselves, because I think that's more. So that's the last bend of the step bends. After this, we go to the regrip station in order to change the orientation of the part. So now we pick up, and what the suction cups on this gripper are also capable, they can pick up the part on the already bent angles, so it's possible to pick up the part even in the radius. After this, of course, we go and set it down to the designated pallet.
Yes, not only the capability of the robot, of the press brake, offers you the ability to handle these big applications, also the cell layout is modular in our bending cell. So you can configure the track length up to 13-meter track length to have enough space for your big and heavy applications into the bending cell. And this is not the end, also the direct connection to a storage system to bring in heavy parts into the bending cell in an automated way can be configured in a modular way into our bending cell. So the whole concept is made for big and heavy applications to have the possibility to all these applications in an automated way. So we are in the end with our presentation of the bending cell, and I want to give back to our next station, to our modular tool changer. Now, in a very short way, from our bending cell directly to our modular tool changer. And as I told you at the bending cell, that our complete range of the Expert Pro series can be integrated into our bending cell. As I said, the range of the Expert Pro series ends with a 320-ton machine by 4-meter bending length. And with this bending machine, you mostly bend bigger and heavy applications. But what about the automated tool change? So with big applications, with heavy applications, it's often necessary and mostly necessary to handle also bigger tool segments and also bigger dies for your applications. And what is possible with this automated tool change, our modular tool changer, I want to show you now in detail. We have here a setup with different tool segments. As I mentioned, big tool segments which are necessary for bigger applications and heavy applications. So let's start with a punch of a length of 515 millimeter. Also, these tools are often used in combination with big and heavy applications, and the weight itself is very high. We have here also a V50, a V60, a V80, and also a V120. So the possibility to have dies up to a size of V120 handled in an automated way with our tool changer, especially then if we go for heavy and big applications. For sure, there are also segments which are smaller and needed for station bending. But in general, important to know that we have the capability with our modular tool changer to directly address these big dies and tools which are needed for heavy applications. And we want to go on to show you now an application which was programmed by my colleague Ronny in the beginning. And for this application, we want to do an automated tool change exactly with these tools to the tool setup for this application. So we start the automated tool change. The program is now loaded, which was programmed by Ronny in our software demonstration. And we now bring the tools back to the tool magazine and prepare the complete tool setup for this new job. In general, our system is called Modular Tool Changer because it's modular. All Expert Pro can be retrofitted with our Modular Tool Changer and gives you then the ability to add an automated tool change to your Expert Pro series. Yeah, we have a capacity for tools up to 52 meter of tools for our 4-meter machines, for our 3-meter machines up to 42 meter of tools, which could be handled with our modular tool changer. Also special tools like radius tools, which were shown before for bigger applications, are possible to change in an automated way with the modular tool changer. And especially these heavy tools are heavy work for your operators and are then very worth to change in an automated way. And this is also the reason why we have the capability with our modular tool changer to change these tools. So what kind of tool setup we are using for our next application? We use a P7 punch, and we're also using V50 dies with a height of 100 millimeter. And also these tools are really heavy work to handle for operators. So the tool setup we will show you here for this application has in sum a weight of 66 kilogram. And if you imagine you have small batch size production, and this is then the point where an automated tool change makes sense, and you do, let's say 20 small batches during a shift, then in the end you have to carry around, or your operator has to carry around 1 ton of tools during this shift. And in this case, it's very worth to have an automated tool change with the ability and capability to change also these bigger applications. In this case, the tool change is finished, and at this point I would like to overhand to my colleague Ronny, who is showing you some additional features on our Expert Pro series, the bending aid, the laser angle measuring system based on a heavy-duty application.
Okay, hello again. How Benedikt had said, we have 2 points open. One of our compensation system is the LAMP system. Let me just hit the start button that everything move on the right position. The tools has changed the robot itself. You have seen it before. And we will bend the part. This is like this part we have seen in the software, you can remember. You have also seen the part with the step bends in the software, and now we will bend this part. Okay, if you have strange material, different material or special material, or maybe the quality of the material is not that good, then it could be a good solution. You have additional to a good crowning system, also this measuring system. This can do different things. Of course, if you have an idea about your material, then you have a mode we can bend a little bit faster. If you say to the machine you are not really sure what kind of material is it, we can also measure the spring back. You will see it later on 2 bends. I will also use the bending aid that you see how it works together. Okay, how we operate with this is really simple. Of course, the bend is like the same you have seen before, but with the difference now we are using the laser angle measuring system. Maybe you can see the blue line. They are measuring the angle. In this case, I have switched on the spring back measuring. This is the reason why the machine re-measured the part. Then we do the second bend with the holes. Also interesting in this case, this is a real application from a customer for the crowding system. You see it again. We do the bend and re-hit the material to measure the spring back, and then we are finished. But in case you will use the bending aid, we can also use the bending aid, and we can use the bending aid together with the LAMP system. On the bending aid itself, we have also some side stops. In this case, I don't need really the side stops, but just in case you have a small part, you can also use the side stops. Really simple. You put the part on the side stop and push it to the back stops. Okay, now we do the bend. I will just move the part in the right position. You will see in the first bend and bend without spring back measuring. This means the bending aid and the part goes in the same way, and if it's finished, then the machine goes back and everything is fine. We can also use the LAMP system with the spring back measuring system. Let me first move a little bit down the beam, then it goes a little bit faster. And then you see also on the bending aid, if we do the bend, and now it's a little bit different. You see the bending aid is following the part, going a little bit back, and follow for the second bend, and then we are finished and we have a perfect part. Looks like this. You don't need to control the the bending angle. You have seen the bending aid is really good following the bent part, and especially for heavy parts or long, big parts in the dimension is this a really useful option. Okay, now I'm finished on my machine. Now I give back to my colleagues Suzanne and Bashir. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronny. And also thank you, Benedikt and Stefan, also Karsten. Thank all of you for your explanation about our modular torque exchanger and our bending cell. As we saw, we spoke about handling of tooling of the tool in our bending machine, and also we spoke about handling of our big parts, heavy parts with our bending cell. As we know now, we can have a solution for a lot of person who's working by us. For our user who is standing in front of the machine and would like to bend some parts or any or more parts, he has the solution to use the tool changer for changing the tool and bend all his parts with his hand. And we have another solution, the bending cell. The bending cell can change the tool and also can bend the parts and move the part to the machine and bend it also. Now, I would like to speak about all what we saw today. At first, we saw our Ronny, who's speaking about our software, the BySoftCam, how we can handle all our part, and we make a cutting technology and also make a tool setup optimizer. Also the tool setup for our bending machine and for our cutting machine. And afterward, we went to our Erik, our colleague, who was speaking about the laser, which we have in our demo center here in Gotha in Germany, with 15 kilowatt cutting force, which we use also for cut all material which we saw. And we have also another solution from the laser, which we spoke about, the beam shaper, which can make a big changing or precision with our working for the thick material. And also we spoke about our colleague here from AIRCO, from the company AIRCO, which use the mixed gas for cutting also this thick material and also for producing the nitrogen and also another gas. And afterward, we went to our machines, bending machine, which we use here in our demo center, the Expert Pro 150 with 150 ton, which we use for bend the crowning part, the part which has a lot of holes and a lot of and a small angle and also a long angle. And we saw how our bending machine, the Expert Pro 150, has a nice, good work with this crowning part, also with holes and with a small part. And afterward, we went to our colleague Benedikt and Stefan and Karsten also, which they spoke about our bending cell and the solution with the automation, our bending cell automation, which we use for helping also our user. That's mean my bending cell, the robot inside the machine, can make all the work for me and for my company, and correctly with rotation. That's mean if we spoke about it, more than 100 kilo can this robot handle. We can have really nice solution for our working with bending and with our working with laser. We have also for the laser automation solution which can handle also the part. But before we go back to my colleague Suzanne, if you have any question, please write us here down in our YouTube chat that we can try to answer your question. If you have one question or more, don't be shy. Please ask us. We are here for you for answering your question. Now I give the mic to Suzanne.
As Bashir already explained, we saw a lot of technologies and a lot of solutions Bystronic in cooperation with AIRCO offers. If you want to have any special demo on any special machine, just contact your sales guy or contact our demo centers worldwide. So we are able to give you an overview over all our machines in more detail, especially customized for you. And also our colleagues from AIRCO have a special demo center at their factory, and they will also show you all their systems and all their new technologies. So now let's check in our chat if we have any questions. I see we have a question for AIRCO. So I want to hand over to my colleague Johannes again to answer the question.
Okay, yeah, thank you once again for the question also. The question was about how much pressure you can put into our system. So maybe we talk about the whole system and how it works a little bit. The pressure we need at the inlet of the compressed air, so we're using the in-house compressed air to produce the nitrogen, and the required pressure would be 7.5 bar. And then our nitrogen generator produces the nitrogen, purity of up to 6.0. And after that, we store our nitrogen in bundles, pretty much as you know it when you order bundles from your gas supplier. That's pretty much the same system. And our system compresses the nitrogen into the bundles. The nitrogen is buffered there. This has several advantages. First advantage would be we can select the capacity of different amounts of bundles, especially tailored to the customer's needs. And also, if we have peaks or if we cut thicker material like we saw today, we might need higher amount of nitrogen, and that peak can also be buffered from our bundles. The nitrogen in the bundles is stored at 300 bar, so that means we can regulate the pressure to any required pressure we need at the laser. That's usually between 20 and 30 bars. I hope that answers the question, and back to you, Susanne and Bashir.
Thank you, Johannes, for your explanation. Let's now check again our chat system. So I can't find any more questions. If you still have any more, please feel free to just add them in our chat, and we will try and give the answers as soon as possible. Also, maybe interesting for you, we also have a digital late night event with the topic of energy efficiency in our YouTube channel, which you can watch on demand. This is also especially with heavy duty options. And also, if you want to see more details on video or on stream, you can also watch our Feature Fridays on YouTube. As I see, we have no more questions in our chat anymore. I would like to thank you very much for your attention for today and wish you a nice day.
From my side also, thank you for watching us. Have a nice day. Bye. أهلا وسهلا فيكم من جديد. اسمي بشير المعلولي. بتشرف اني اليوم ارجع اعمل لكم ملخص جديد باللغة العربية عن اللي حصل واللي شفناه قدامنا من المكانات ومن الترتيب عن موضوع السوفت وير تبعنا وعن كل الشغلات الأخرى اللي شفناها اليوم. يعني أول شيء نحن بلشنا بالحديث عن الباي سوفت كام. هذا السوفت وير اللي نحن بنستعمله على جميع مكاناتنا. هذا الأوفلاين سوفت وير اللي نحن بنستعمله، اللي نحن نستعمله أول شيء بالمكتب، بعدين بنقوم بإرسال برامج عن طريقه للمكانات اللي موجودة معنا. يعني بإمكاننا عن طريقه كتابة البرنامج للمكانات الثانية ولمكانات الليزر. يعني إذا قمنا نحن مثلا بإعداد برنامج محدد لثاني أحد قطع العمل، نحن بنقوم ببعثه للإكسبيرت 40 أو إكسبيرت 150 أو لأي مكنة من مكنات بيسترونيك، وبيتم العمل عن طريق العامل اللي بيوقف قدام المكنة، وبيتم ثاني القطعة عن طريقه. يعني بيوصل البرنامج جاهز. وكمان نفس الشيء بيصير عن طريق مكنات الليزر. نكتب البرنامج لمكنات الليزر، الصفيحة المعدنية كاملة بيتم تقطيعها، بيتم رسم العملية كاملة وتبعث إلى المكنة بيتم الضغط على زر الكونت لحتى يتم القيام بقطع المكنات، مثل ما بقطع قطع الحديد. بيتم أيضا عن طريقه تجميع الكثير من قطع العمل والقيام فيهم على شكل سلسلة، كما شفنا بالاوبتيكال تول اوبتيمايزر. بيتم عن طريقه تحديد عدد القطع الموجودين لدينا وتحديد طريقة العمل فيهم لحتى العامل يلي بيوقف على المكنة يقدر يستثمر أقل وقت ممكن على المكنة. يعني بتحدد أول قطعة عمل كيف بيتم تصنيعها، بعدين البرنامج بيحدد عمليات تبديل لأدوات العمل اللي نحن بنستخدمهم للثاني بشكل مبسط لحتى العامل ما يضطر يبدل كثير، ولحتى نحن نقدر نكمل عمليات أعداد كبيرة من القطع العمل. وكمان في عنا نحن البلانت مانجر هذا بيتم عن طريقه تحديد جميع العمليات كاملة يلي نحن بنقوم فيها على مكنات الليزر ومكنات الثني، والقيام ببرنامج لهذا الموضوع لحتى يتم معرفة أي وقت بده يتم إنتاج هذا قطعة العمل أو إنتاج أي قطع حديد اللي نحن بدنا نقوم بقطعها وإلى آخره. يعني بيقوم بتحديد جميع العمليات مع بعضها وبيقوم بحساب جميع العمليات مع بعضها، شو بنحتاج من مواد، شو بنحتاج من وقت لثني المواد ولا قطع المواد وإلى ما هنالك. طبعا اللي عنده سؤال بتمنى انه يكتبه بالشات عندي وراح اقوم انا بالاجابه عليه اذا لاحظت انه في اسئله، واذا ما لاحظت انه في اسئله بتشكركم جميعا. طبعا بالفقره اللي بعدها نحن تحدثنا عن مكنه الليزر البي ستار فايبر. المكنه الليزر اللي كانت موجوده امامنا هي عباره عن 15 كيلو وات مكنه ليزر، وبيتم عن طريقها قطع سماكات متعدده من الحديد. اللي شفناها نحن كان عندنا حوالي 20 ملم سماكه حديد اللي تم قطعها، واستعملنا فيها البيم شيبر. البيم شيبر هو عباره عن عدسه اضافيه بيتم اضافتها للليزر لحتى يقوم بقطع سماكات الحديد السميك بدقه عاليه، وبيتم تركيز الفوكس فيه بمكان محدد من الحديد لحتى الواحد يقدر ياخذ كواليتي مناسبه. وفي عندنا كمان شركه ايركو يلي هي بتقوم بإنتاج بمساعدة بيسترونيك بهذا الموضوع. يعني هن بينتج هاي الشركة بتقوم بدمج الغاز اللي موجود عنا النيتروجين مع القليل من الأكسجين لحتى يعطينا إمكانية قطع مناسبة للحديد السميك. كمان إيركو بتقوم بإنتاج كمان منتج للنيتروجين. هي آلات بتقوم بسحب النيتروجين من الهواء وتصفيته لحتى يتم القطع فيه. بعد ما شفنا نحن إيرجو انتقلنا للإكسبيرت تول تشينجر. الإكسبيرت تول تشينجر عن طريقه بيتم تبديل قطع العمل ادوات العمل اللي نحن بنستخدمهم للثني. هو عباره عن روبوت من شركه كوكا قادر على ترتيب ادوات عمل الى حد 30 كيلو. الروبوت بيقوم بمساعده العامل بهذه الطريقه بانه بيحط له ادوات العمل بالمكان المناسب بالمكان الصح، وكمان بالموقع الصح، وكمان بالوزن المناسب. يعني 30 كيلو وزن جدا كبير بالنسبة
للعامل اذا كل نهار بده يبدل ادوات العمل و30 كيلو 30 كيلو 30 كيلو رح يصير كميه هائله عليه. فبهاي الطريقه بيكون الروبوت موجود لحتى يرتب له ادوات العمل بشكل دقيق، وكمان لحتى يساعده بموضوع الحمل. ساعتها بيكون الروبوت عم يبدل قطع ادوات العمل، والعامل بيكون عم بيجيب المواد لحتى يتم ثنيها. وطبعا احنا شفنا كمان مكنه الاكسبيرت برو اللي كنا عم نشتغل عليها. الاكسبيرت برو هي عباره عن مكنه كبيره بالحجم، 150 اللي كانت موجوده معنا 150 طن. قادر المكنه على استخدام هاي ال 150 طن على ثني الحديد. سريعه جدا، حوالي 25 ملم بالثانيه، مثل اي مكنه صغيره، عشان هيك سميناها البرو. سرعة هائلة ودقة عالية. وكمان شفنا على المكنة الكراونينج سيستم. الكراونينج سيستم هو عبارة عن سيستم بيقوم بتحريك الكمبرسورات من أسفل المكنة ومن أعلى المكنة لحتى يتم تحديد دقة الثني على طول قطعة العمل بالشكل المناسب. يعني لنفرض أنا قمت بثني قطعة حديد 90 ملم وطول قطعة الحديد 3 متر، أنا بقدر أحصل عن طريق الكراونينج الدقة الكاملة من أول قطعة العمل إلى آخرها بنفس الزاوية. عشان هيك نحن بنستعمل الكراونينج. وطبعا في عنا أدوات أخرى نحن بنستخدمها في المكنة، مثل ما شفنا. مثلا اللمز هو قادر على قياس الزاوية وتصحيح الزاوية إذا اضطر الأمر. وبعدين نحن انتقلنا إلى الإكسبيرت برو مع البندنج سيل. هو عبارة عن روبوت قادر على حمل قطع العمل بما يفوق 100 كيلو، يعني ما يقارب 150 كيلو بإمكاننا حمل قطع العمل بهذا الروبوت. طبعا عندنا أشكال متعددة من هذا الروبوت، في منهم قادرين على حمل 50 80 120 130 150 بأشكال متعددة. طبعا هذا الروبوت هو قادر كمان على تبديل أدوات العمل، وقادر على العمل أوتوماتيكيا بشكل كامل. يعني العامل بحط قطع العمل بقلب المكنة، والمكنة بتقوم بالعمل كاملا شو بيحتاج الشخص لإلها. طبعا هي بتخلي البني آدم أو بتخلي الشركة تقوم بالعمل بشكل مؤتمت كامل، تبديل قطع أدوات العمل، ثاني قطع الحديد الموجودة أمامنا، وبالإضافة إلى التركيز على موضوع دقة الثني إذا استعمل الواحد اللمس سيستم بقلبها. طبعا أنا بحب أتشكركم لأنه أنتم اليوم شاركتونا بهذا الحدث وكنتوا معنا وتسمعتوا على الحديث تبعنا. أنا راح أطلع مرة أخرى على الشات عنا. في عنا سؤال عن من راين عن الأشكال المتعددة من الفي أو من أدوات العمل السفلى اللي نحن بنستخدمها للثني. لنفرض نحن في عنا أشكال متعددة، نحن بنحاول نكون بموضوع ثني الحديد من حوالي 1 ملم نستخدم له الفي 6 أو الفي 8 وما إلى هنالك. في عنا مثلا على 1.5 ملم الفي 10. وطبعا التول تشينجر أو الروبوت قادر على تبديل جميع هاي أدوات العمل السفلى اللي نحن اللي موجودة معنا. سبيشال أدابتر إذا كان موجود عليه النود أو القطع أو الأداة اللي بتساعد على حمله عن طريق الروبوت، طبعا بإمكانه الواحد يبدله. هاي اللي مشان سؤال كيفن راين. أنا عم بطلع هون على الأسئلة أو على الشات قدامي، ما عم لاحظ ولا سؤال، معناها الموضوع اللي تم نحن هون معنا كان مفهوم. طبعا بحب اتشكركم من جهتي. انا هون ببيسترونيك المانيا بمدينه كوتا. شكرا جزيلا لحضوركم ولسماعكم لهي الموسيقى الحدث الجميل. اذا كان في عندكم اي سؤال، اذا بتحبوا كمان تحجزوا اي ديمو عنا، بامكانكم الضغط على الرابط الموجود امامنا وطلب ديمو لحتى نقدر نحن نعرض لكم المنتج تبعنا بشكل موثق وبشكل افضل. وفي اذا عندكم قطع عمل وانتم حابين انه تشوفوا اذا نحن فينا نثنيها او لا، فيكم كمان تراسلونا وتتحدثوا معنا. بتشكركم كثير من جهتي وبتمنى لكم يوم سعيد. باي باي.